Dear listeners of the Female Guides Requested podcast, welcome back. I'm your host, Tintin from Las Vegas. Today's guest is a true trailblazer in the international guiding community, Juliana Garcia. Juliana is an Ecuadorian mountain guide whose career is a series of firsts. She was the first woman to pass the rigorous expert exams in the Bolivian system and became the first female IFMGA certified guide in all of Latin America. Juliana's influence extends far beyond the technical terrain of the Andes. She served 2 terms as the president of the Ecuadorian Mountain Guides Association, where she was instrumental in bringing their national school up to international standards. She also shattered glass ceilings at the highest level of the profession as the first woman ever to sit on the board of the IFMGA. At the time of this interview, Juliana was based in Washington State and was in the final stages of a multi-year journey to become a certified ski guide, a discipline she picked up as an adult to bring high-level snow science and safety back to her home community in Ecuador. And to no one's surprise, she passed. Now, let's dive into Juliana's inspiring life journey, her transition from volcanoes to the Cascades, the power of mentorship, and why she believes the most important tool a guide can have is the ability to listen. Juliana, welcome to the Female Guides Requested podcast. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here and to share with the community.
Were you guiding today?
I wasn't. I was enjoying skiing with my friends. It's a powder day here in Washington, so we just been having fun.
Nice. Maybe I would let you use your words to introduce yourself briefly to our audience.
Sure. I'm an Ecuadorian female guide. I live now in Washington in the United States. I used to live in Ecuador. I grew up in Ecuador. I've been climbing since I'm 14 years old. Became Ecuadorian National Mountain Guide many years ago. Became IFMGA female guide in Latin America. And I'm just passionate about being in the mountains, climbing, enjoying the snow. And now my new passion is skiing. I didn't grow up skiing, and now I've been following the winters the last 7 years, back to back, South America, North America winters. That's me. I'm just a person that loves to be outside, loves to share, loves to be in the mountains. That's it, I think.
Nice. I personally haven't been to Ecuador, but I do know that there's some high mountains in Ecuador. Can you just briefly describe what is climbing scene there in Ecuador?
So Ecuador back home is in the Andes. We do have big, tall mountains, 20,000 feet, 6,000 meters, volcanoes, basically, in Ecuador at least. So what we've been climbing is volcanoes, spring conditions most of the time, rock, alpine terrain as well, and all of climbers back home, we travel a lot around the Andes range. So we go to our neighbors, Peru and Bolivia, where they do have a beautiful range, not volcanoes just. So more technical stuff, alpine, big walls. And then, we are pretty used to the altitude. We kind of spend our time in between, 17, 24,000 feet all the time guiding and playing. So yeah, that is kind of like our terrain back home. Ecuador is paradise, spring year round, and so allowed us to play and do things all the time.
Nice. You mentioned that you started climbing mountains since you were 14. And how did you start? Was it just because the mountains were so inspiring, you see them all the time? Or maybe a family member brought you up to a mountain or something like that?
No, so I grew up in a Montessori school, and we normally enjoy the outdoors a lot. So we used to bike a lot. I did a big trip when I was like 13 from Ecuador to Brazil. So I biked 5 months with like other teammates. And when I came back to Ecuador, something like, I had this flame inside of me that like you just want to keep discovering, like you just want to keep moving, right? Like the movement idea of like, okay, you want to keep moving. And I found this group of people that they used to go to the mountains every couple of weekends, and then rock climbing. So I started like mountaineering with a group of people that is called Aire Libre, in Spanish, in Ecuador. And I just fell in love with like being out there. I was like a strong kid, let's put it that way, when I was 14, teenager. So everything kind of like just ended up being pretty amazing, easy to be out there. And I never stopped climbing since then. I've been climbing my whole life.
Nice. So you mentioned that you did a very long bike trip. Actually, I saw that somewhere online too, that from Ecuador all the way to Brazil.
Right.
And that was like related to the school.
Yeah, 100%. That was kind of like a project, part of our school. We trained for a year, we prepared the trip for a year, and we were like 45 people. And we biked 5 months from Ecuador all the way to Manaus. So, and I was 14, 13 years old when I did that trip. So I think that changed my brain quite a bit.
So is it safe to say that because when you were young and then the school encouraged you and then you discover your adventures and soul, and then you came back, when you came back to Ecuador, you start climbing?
Totally. Yeah. I was wild since as a child too, but yeah.
Is that why your parents would describe you as a wild kid?
No, they will like describe me more like an adventure with some personality. Yeah, very free. I had a lot of freedom in a good
I
way.
see. And then do your parents and family members, do they climb too, or do they do any outdoor stuff?
No, at all. They are not into the outdoors. They enjoy nature in a different way. We live far away from the city, but they are like more like artists, intellectual people. But they really understand the idea of like what it means to be free, the freedom in your soul, to do what you love, to do what and to enjoy nature, to be out there, try to listen to your inner soul or something. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're very into that.
And how did you decide that guiding was what you wanted to do? Have you tried anything else, or were you just like, oh, I really like to be in the mountains, so guiding is the thing?
I think I didn't know that I wanna guide when I start mountaineering, but I found myself like very comfortable in the mountains when I start climbing, when I start going to different expeditions, climbing by myself, climbing with friends. And I was kind of like, I really want to know more. Like, I really want to have more knowledge about like being in the mountains and be safe to keep enjoying. That's why I end up getting into the guiding school back home just to learn more. But
Okay.
that kind of that ended up like very 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 kind of like almost at the same time the industry of guiding back home start growing. And next thing you know, I'm taking people out there. I'm guiding kind of like, for almost for fun, just because I wanted to be out there. So I would like go out there with friends that they had less experience, and I will be in front of the rope team, right? I will be like leading the teams. My personality like help because I'm kind of like that person. Um, and next thing you know, I'm like, I got hired by like companies to start guiding people and like helping people to achieve. And that was amazing. I mean, the combination of like sharing my passion, climbing in places that I would love to be, and share with someone else, and being in charge of people and sharing that love of mountaineering was incredible. And that's why I end up guiding. That's why I end up in that the guiding world at the beginning, at least.
So originally you just wanted to know more, because in order to do more, you have to learn more. So you enter the guiding school, but then because
Totally.
of that, you start guiding trip and like taught people, and then you eat that.
Yeah. And I went to university as well, like in the same time. I studied graphic design and communication and marketing. And everything that I was doing back then, in between my university and like the guiding, it was related to the mountains, like how to protect the glaciers, how to save the water, how to communicate better about like being out there safely. So all my projects in terms of like communication, graphic design, marketing, when like everything was like, kind of like crossing paths in the same idea, because I went deep into mountaineering, like guiding and like how to help the community in general, the nature, our playgrounds. And so my focus on whatever I study, whatever else I do that is related to the mountains is because of that, kind of like just how we keep ourselves safe, how we keep our place safe, how we keep ourselves healthy, eating the right food, supporting the right people, farmers, organic, because it's our body, is our motor. Like we need, I need my two legs, my body every day to keep enjoying nature.
Definitely. I know that you're also a big advocate. I saw a lot of Instagram sharing, you're talking about the environment. So you really care about the environment. And I would love to talk about that a little bit, but let me come back to, so in order to become a guide, so when back then in Ecuador, you already start guiding, and then but you start pursuing the IFMGA mountain guide certificate, right? What was the reason? Was it necessary for your work or something else?
Yeah, no. So it's kind of like a long story, a different process. What happened to me back home when I started guiding in Ecuador? I started guiding school back home. The Ecuadorian Mountain Guide Association, our school, wasn't part of the IFMGA. So I studied and I became a national guide with our own diploma nationally, an Ecuadorian diploma. And back then, the only countries in South America to get the IFMGA certification was Peru, Bolivia, and Argentina. And for us, for many of the Ecuadorians, historically, the easiest was to go to Bolivia. So many of my colleagues, friends, they went to Bolivia ahead of me to get the diploma, to get the training, because Bolivia was the country certified by the IFMGA. And then I wanted just to keep learning more. One of my best kind of like friends, and Joshua Jerin, I climbed with him quite a bit. We opened new routes together. Like we became really close. He was like, "Hey, Juliana, you should go for the pin. It's totally doable. He did before. And I was like, sure, why not? So I went to Bolivia for my aspirant course at the beginning. And the things in Bolivia didn't go as well as I thought for different reasons. Part of that is like the culture. I became the first female to try that in that system. So there were like many things involved, like our culture in South America is very male dominated. So yeah, many things happens. But long story short, I didn't pass my aspirant training over there. So I came back home very depressed, actually, frustrated about how everything ended up because I feel it wasn't fair, actually. But and then few years passed, and I became the president of the Ecuadorian Association back home. My friend Joshua Jerin, he became the technical director, and at that point we were like pretty mature. We've been guiding, and we had the time and the energy to work for our own community and to put the Ecuadorian Mountain Guide Association at a different level. And our mission, our goal was like to become part of the International Federation of Mountain Guide Association as a school. We were like, okay, we're going to work hard. We're going to put our school in that level and we're going to become part of the federation. Is what we did. Took us like 5 years, 4 or 5 years. We became part of the IFMGA, part of the federation. So our school was recognized. We submit all the standards and everything. And at that moment, when you join the federation, there is kind of like few processes. And one of the process was many local guides, national guides from Ecuador. We were able to go through 20 days of training, extra training, and 6 days of exams to get our PIN, kind of like an equivalence or something like that, like just to level up platform level to the standards of the IFMGA, and then exams, and then we will get the PIN. Is what we did, and I went through that process. So at the end, I became a PIN guide in Ecuador by our own association.
I see. And so when you went to Bolivia, you saying that you were the first female to try? Was that right?
I mean, I was the first female to pass the test that they kind of like implement. I don't know if there were like other girls before, but I became the first one passing that test. And that's why at the end of the day, a few years later, I became the first IFMGA girl in Latin America. By coincidence. I mean, there are so many badasses, ladies, women all over South America, but they never went through the process because I feel like the process has been very unfair, male dominated. So it's not welcoming at all. It's very tough.
Yeah.
It's very hard environment for us. And I went through that and it was hard.
Eventually you became the president of the federation in Ecuador. Do you think the culture in Bolivia and Ecuador back then are different? So of course you were born and raised in Ecuador, probably helped, but was it easier for you to overcome the gender bias in your home country?
No, not at all. No, it wasn't. I think back home was just a matter of like, by then has been many years that I've been in the industry already. By then has been many years that I've been, like doing trainings and like going to Bolivia and like pushing, like I've been there in my home country, like with my colleagues, and like I've been involved with that community so much more that when I became president, it was like a matter of like being exposed to that. like for a while. And of course, I think Ecuador has or had at the time more girls in the mountaineering community overall compared to other countries, for sure.
And I see. So now that, now you're not president there, right? So you were president, and then you got the pin. Did you think that you changed the culture a little? Maybe more women would like to follow your footsteps?
Oh, 100%. And not just in Ecuador. Kind of like I became the president. I did 2 terms in the association in Ecuador. So I did 6 years. So I put myself out there for a while. It was a lot of work. Then I became a pin guide. And then now I'm part of the school. So I'm an instructor. So I've been in the political, school guiding situation for like now more than almost 10 years. And now we do have more girls. Now we have more girls in the training, guides, and yeah, it's been changing quite a bit. And not just in Ecuador, it has been changing in Peru, in Bolivia, everywhere in South America. Like, yeah, is growing.
Nice. How did you find the drive? I know, being first is tough.
It's weird. I mean, I think, I've been kind of like achieving things without knowing that I'm like going through this path. So has been just my passion about like, okay, I want to learn, I want to change things. And then I became the first, and then I became the first, and then blah, blah, blah. And I think the most important part has been like, I do have amazing friends next to me, like people who support me, that they believe on me, that they trust. My community is like priceless. I mean, my people, my family actually, yeah, I had a lot of support from my community, so I think is what like makes me, you know, strong, so I can keep going. And now that I have mentees and people that they are like inspired by like the things that I've been doing or the things that I keep doing, I feel so motivated because of them, like new generations, people that they are behind, like new females that they want to like keep doing it and like keep training, and like they climb better than I climb. They do alpine terrain better than I do. And I'm like, wow, girls, you are amazing. I mean, like I'm gonna keep like trying to keep learning more, trying to keep inspiring you with like other things, and trying to just be part of the community and just keep growing from each other.
So is it fair to say that back then you're like, okay, I love the mountains. I want to do a lot of things in the mountains. I wanted to learn. So it's not that you feel like, oh, I need to be the first woman or whatever, but just because you need to fight. So then that's the path that you took.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I don't care about like the first, the second, the third, like whatever, It's just a matter of like, I end up in those positions because no one did before. But yeah.
Nice. And definitely those has to be done, and see that you pave ways for latecomers. And it seems like, doing something at the political level, like, being a president, and then later you also serve on the AMGA board, was important, right? Did you recognize that? So that was why you did that. And what did you do at the board?
Yeah, that being part of the board, serving at the board was like another huge, important, I think, step overall. A big picture, something that probably even now is hard to recognize how that affect in a good way global wise. I just, one day I was at the General Assembly and some Canadian, he was like, hey, Juliana, you should apply for the board. And I was like, me? I'm like pretty young female from South America. And he was like, yeah, I mean, the International Federation needs, new blood, new people, new perspectives. So when I became part of the board, I was serving for 2 terms as well, like 6 years. And it was like super interesting to be part of that, being able to bring firsthand into the table our perspective from, first of all, from another continent, from South America, second, from like a new generation, and third, as a female. Like, I became the first female to sit at that board ever. That doesn't, I, that blew my mind. I was like,
You
you
blew my
kidding
mind
me? Like,
too.
yeah, I was like, why? Like, you kidding me? I mean, you know, climbing and mountaineering has been like first world thing in the Alps forever, and no female sitting at the board before at all. And I was like, wow. I mean, it was like an eye opening, thinking that, okay, I thought South America, my continent, my country, my community, we were like years behind in gender situations in general. And then I'm sitting at the board of the International Federation of Mountain Guide Associations, and I'm the first one. How come? So I think it was very interesting to have interaction with the board members. We were like 7 people, 6 of them nice gentlemen from France, Germany, Austria, Switzerland. But it was the first time that I need to deal with another board member as a female. And not just a female, like from another continent and pretty young. So it was like, I think, super healthy for the organization, for the future of like the new generations, for the future of like females in general, for like guides, for the profession itself. Since then, I have seen more females join the international meetings. Now there's Angela Hawks. She was the president of the AMGA from the States, and now she's part of the board too. And I was like so lucky that we overlapped for like a year together. It was like the best gift ever. 2 females, very powerful ladies, sitting at the board. It was like incredible. Now she's there in her last year now. I'm not in the board anymore. But I think that you know creates something, and that impact, that, yeah, I mean, is an historical thing that's gonna be there, and like is will never be the same.
Right. And then I'm curious, like, what kind of changes did you see just because this new blood, the diversity of the board, like with you first and then Angela House second?
I think overall, as an international organization, now people realize that like we are a stronger community overseas. Of like, doesn't matter about borders anymore, and we are working for a profession, for a better for everybody. And we do have more inclusion, and now we can be on top of like different issues all over the world in terms of like gender. And for sure, we encourage more ladies, or other people, other genders, to be part of the guiding world. Like, now you can really see that like actually it's doable. Like, we are very diverse people over there, like female, males, other genders, colors, we are there, and it's possible. And I think that is a big change for the future of in the industry.
You mentioned that the skiing was kind of a newer discipline for you.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, how did
It's
you
a
pick
new,
it up?
oh my gosh. So I knew ski exists because of the discipline, because of the international federation and blah, 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 the training. But in our countries, we never learn how to ski. We can get the pin without a ski. But I knew that that discipline exists and has been there, you know. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna learn how to ski as an adult. Um, I'm gonna learn a lot of snow science, and I'm gonna do it. So 8 years ago, I decided that I'm gonna become a ski guide. I'm gonna put time, effort, money, everything on it. And I have a mentor, Pablo Puruncajas. He's an Ecuadorian, but he used to live in the United States. And he's a good skier, of course. And he was like, Juliana, I can teach you how to ski. And I was like, okay, here we go. So I start coming to United States. He will take me, to some resorts, but mostly backcountry, just, skiing, learning, and few years in, after 3, 4 years of skiing randomly here, over there, I decided that like I'm gonna start the with the AMGA training as a to become a ski guide. And it's been a long journey. I've been skiing a lot, trying to put myself over there. I became an AIARE instructor, so I'm very deep into snow science. I finished my Pro 2. I love the snow science. I love the snow. I became very nerdy about it. Um, and I decided to move to the States to finish my training because that was the only way. That's why I live in the States right now. That's why I, switch my whole life the last 3 years just to be in the winters and to put myself in the better space where I can finish my training. And I have my exam soon in 3 weeks from now. So my long journey is gonna end soon, I hope. Knocking wood.
Nice.
The
Yeah.
exam is gonna happen. Yeah.
And it's gonna be in Northwest.
It's gonna be in the Northwest, yeah, in here in the Cascades.
Nice. Wow, from all your story, you really have a strong mind. You're just like, okay, I want to do this, then I just go do it. And for me, it's just like it's a little harder to imagine. I used to ski, but I found that if you didn't grow up skiing, it's gonna be a longer journey. Do you feel that way? I see the
100%
nodding.
has been a long journey, and I have been in moments where like I'm not getting this, and the only way to do it. So I almost quit rock climbing. I used to rock climb a lot, and I almost, kind of like I needed to choose where I'm gonna put my effort, where I'm gonna put my days, my holidays, my free time. I'm not choosing like climbing trips anymore. I've been choosing just ski trips over and over and over, I ski 130 days a year now. And it's the only way to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, I heard like IFMGA guy told me, he said, well, it's a matter of like whether you want to put time into it, right? And you definitely put
Yeah,
time. You even moved to the States.
100%. Even
Yeah.
moved to United States. And for me as an Ecuadorian, it's like, okay, applying for a visa, for working visa, for like, I mean, it's a whole thing. It's like changing your life. It's like putting your life on hold for a moment, and like all your resources, all your things. I mean, I switched my life to be able to become a ski guide.
Right. So what kind of adjustment? So back when you were in Ecuador, so you probably teach in the educational course in the guide courses, right? And then what else do you do? Guide internationally?
Yeah, I used to guide a lot internationally, big expeditions all over South America. I came to Denali. I've been guiding in Greenland, um, Aconcagua, Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, teaching Yeah. So overseas in general, but back home as well.
What kind of adjustment did you have to do work-wise? And obviously, maybe your daily life-wise, like committing to the ski guide discipline.
I mean, I quit guiding in the Andes. I quit guiding at Concagua because it's the same season, and I transfer all that time to start teaching AIARE courses, avalanche training, intro to touring, things related with the ski, things related with the winter. So I came to the States, 4 months a year back in the days to just be on the snow and get involved with the snow in general, like following the winter.
Right. And then your exam is 3 weeks from now. Well, at this time it's mid-March right now. And you thinking about moving back or not? And then there will be another dramatic change of your life after you get the ski guide certification?
Yeah, I think what I have I have the feeling that I had a very good chance. I mean, I feel very lucky that I was able to come to keep learning. And I want to go back and teach my people, my community, so they can keep growing and we can keep, growing in terms of like our standards. They need to, they need to be higher. I mean, people back home, they need to know better about other things, quality training that probably I've been lucky to have here. And I just want to like transfer that knowledge back home for sure.
So you want to take whatever you learn from the ski discipline, all the snow science back home, basically.
100%. Yeah.
So you said no skiing in Ecuador. I mean, I understand it's warm, but they are like higher mountains, right? Is it possible that you climb up and then you ski down?
Yeah. So yeah, Ecuador is a warm territory, but like I grew up in the Andes. Quito, the city, is at 10,000 feet. So it's pretty cold. And we have the big volcanoes with big glaciers, and we ski those. And I've been skiing those, but there's no way to learn how to ski. So you need to be pretty good a skier because you have crevasses. So the terrain is very complex. So yeah, we've been guiding those volcanoes, and like my mentor Pablo, he has been guiding there for like now a decade or something. And now skiing the volcanoes is a little more popular. So in certain time of the year, we guide those volcanoes on the skis. But the avalanche science, snow science, is good anytime, and we don't have that quality of like education in Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, in the countries that like we are in the Andes, countries that we don't have the full winter, because Chile and Argentina, they do have, the seasons. They do have a full winter. They do have ski resorts. So they are exposed to the seasons more than us. Those countries like, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia, because we don't have like really, really a winter season or like a summer season itself. We don't have that knowledge, and we need that knowledge. And many new aspirants and like new guides, they want to like learn the ski discipline. So they really want to know a little bit more about the snow science. And in general, I think bringing home different knowledge from different schools is always good.
I see. So you're talking about Ecuador. Yeah, there's definitely ski terrain. However, for entry level, who just started ski, it's not very suitable.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. But when people somehow, if they learn somewhere else, and then they can take this skill back to like Ecuador and apply. Okay.
Totally.
I see. So how many years have you been guiding?
I've been guiding 20 years.
20 years. And you think this career is going strong, right? You keep guiding for a while.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. And what do you love about it?
I think I love sharing. I love sharing the excitement with people. I love sharing how people discover the outdoors themselves. I love to share how people put themselves outside of their limits, sometimes and they do it and they found joy doing it. I love to be part of that journey of other people.
And is there any particular challenge because you are a female guide?
I think not anymore. It used to be.
Not anymore. Used to be. Okay. So used to be, how long ago was that? And then you think it's because humanity had changed or people just start recognize you that you're good?
I think has been a solid 10 years since it changed. And it could be part of a transition of my mindset, myself not caring about that anymore. I know who I am. I know my capacities. So people respect me the way that I am. And as well, the perception of oh, a female is going to guide me, right? So I think it's a combination of both things, the culture in general as clients has been changing. So they are more exposed to other gender people being guides. And yeah, being in the industry for such a long time, owning my place, I think that helps too.
I see. So you mean that your guest perception had changed because they recognize, yes, there's nothing weird about a woman being my guide. And
right.
Okay. And then you also have been in this industry, so maybe you don't even think about this that much anymore.
Exactly.
And do you think that newer female guy still hesitant about, because I think nowadays the statistically still there are a lot more male guys than female guys.
Oh yeah, totally. Of course, it's still hard for the new girls, women's coming in the industry. Still pretty hard to be females, for that perception. But it's less bad, put it that way.
And then
but still there, still exists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I watched this video they made by Patagonia because you are an ambassador for Patagonia, the brand, right? And then a lot of women say they look up to you and you helped a lot. So you mentor this newer female guides. So what did you do exactly? Did you take them out climbing together, share knowledge or something like that?
Yeah, has been very organic, kind of mentorship with Fatima. We are pretty close where we live. I used to climb with her dad. I'm part of the same mountain club, and I've been sharing the same space with her. I've been there for her when she needed. Yeah, of course we climb together. She climbs harder than I do, and I try to bring her in my guided trips. So I started doing those things. If I am the tour leader and I need to choose my co-guides, I will choose a girl first, no matter what. I know that they are good, but I'm just gonna keep supporting that community. And if she needs something, she knows that I will stand up. I'm gonna talk for her because I own the space already, right? So yeah, I've been she's kind of my mentee and few others as well. They know that I'm there for them.
And how about you? So did you have a female role model? You probably don't have a lot of female mentors, but how was that mentorship component for your own growth?
Yeah, as you say, I mean, I didn't have any female, at least close to me back home, right? But I think my friends, couple of friends, they've been my mentors, that they've been next to me, with me when I need them. People that they have been very open-minded in the idea of like, we all can share this space of guiding, mountaineering. And they have been my support, I guess. Yeah. Male friends that they just have a different mindset. Like they see the things differently. They have been my support for sure.
I read through your Instagram post, and then it seems like you mentioned quite a few times, it's like, okay, we human need to do the right things. Look, so many years ago, the glaciers here, now is there. So what did you see, like over the 20 years, you travel all around the world, about the environmental change, and what do you think that we can do to help?
I think what we can do to help is just to choose to be uncomfortable for a moment in our daily life. Means like
Uncomfortable, okay.
Means like if I want to be more conscious about my footprint, right? I might need to put myself in an uncomfortable situations to walk instead of like driving. Washing glass containers instead of like buying plastic. Putting effort on like, choosing the right products, go and get, groceries from a local farmer instead of like going to the market and like easy, we need to choose in our daily life things that we can do that support the energy overall, maybe we need to plan ahead our year instead of like traveling to, crossing continents back and forward. Maybe we need to, you know, yeah, put ourselves in like, okay, maybe this year I just want to travel once overseas. Even if I have the option, maybe it's not needed, right? Like we need to put ourselves in an uncomfortable position. Like we need to think about it. Like, is something that we really need, is something that like what we can do for the others and for the planet in general. So I think that is something that we all can do. And I've been very focused on myself because I choose the battle of like, I love eating really healthy, and eating healthy means not just for my body, means eating healthy for the environment. So it means like I'm going to support farmers that they grow organic, small patches, I try not to eat things that they are out of the season. We eat 3 times a day, and like we as a consumers, we can choose what we buy, and what we buy makes a lot of impact as like humans in food. And that has been one of my things. Same thing with like traveling. Like I need really, it's hard for me. I really need to plan ahead. And like I need to force myself not to say yes to some guided trips all over the world, because that doesn't make any sense. Like, I mean, I can be guiding all over if I want, but like I'm focused on like, okay, where and when to select where I'm going, so I'm not ending up like traveling overseas like crazy back to places, So there are many things that we all can do in our daily life. I think it's just a matter of like, okay, we need to choose what is in our hands and what we are kind of like, what we wanted to do. Because probably because of work, there are things that like, it's not your, I mean, it's not your fight, right? But other things that you can do, probably it's easier to make a difference.
And what did you see as a mountain guide? Because usually mountain guides are the first line, they witness the first line of change, right? So because we frequent a certain area more than other people. So what kind of change
It's
have you
sad.
seen?
I mean, glaciers are disappearing. It's pretty sad. I mean, back home, because we don't have any winter, you can see the glaciers retreating pretty bad. I mean, it's obvious. There are glaciers that they are gone, gone, gone. They are not back. You see rocks, places that I've been climbing before. So it's very obvious that like there is something that is changing, and we need to adapt. And that's something very important for us, for my generation, I think, as a guide. Like, we used to climb routes that the normal routes, they were there because someone climbed them in the 70s, 60s. Conditions in the mountain back then were different. The glacier were different. And now, 40 years later, actually, the mountain is changing. So we need to approach the mountain a different way for like safety things. So it's part of like, yeah, we have seen the change. Like, okay, glaciers are disappearing and all of that, but like for our profession, we need to start changing our mindset. Like, how are we gonna approach this mountain that is changing? Like, we can't follow the normal route anymore. I mean, that doesn't exist, or just instead of like ice and nice snow, that now is rocks falling all over. And that is happening all over in the Alps, in the Andes. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear. We see that every year.
Ooh, wow. I hate to overgeneralize, but I just kind of want to put it out as encouragement to other female guys is what did you find that typically female guys are really good at in terms of guiding?
I I think we are really good on listening.
Listening.
I Yeah, I think we are really good on like perceiving what is going on in our surroundings when we are guiding in a group of people. Um, yeah, and I think we are really good on like not being ashamed to turn around, and I think that's a quality, totally. To bail,
Nice.
I think we are really good on like accepting uh that that part of like mountaineering where conditions are not like 100%, and like I think it's easier for us to call it back.
I see. So the communication, right? Observing and listening, and then potential communication.
Yeah,
And then don't let ego get in the way, maybe.
yeah. I mean, that's the main thing. Like, we don't care. I mean, I think most of us as the females, we don't care much about what the others gonna talk about it. So that's ego at the end of the day. And we are pretty good on like following our feelings.
Nice. And I'm curious, usually when somebody's at the minority, especially in your early days, you are one of the few women or maybe the only woman. Did you feel like you had the pressure to overperform or prove yourself? And then if that was the case, did you eventually adjust to be true to yourself?
Totally. Oh yeah, no, at the beginning it was pretty hard. And I had that in mind all the time, like that I need to show, that I need to prove more, um, until that it wasn't the case anymore. But for sure, it was a time where like that was the case.
And then how about now?
Oh, now I don't care anymore. I don't need to prove anything to anybody.
Right. And then what do you think caused the change? Was it because now you are way more confident or something else?
I think part of it was because I almost died in an accident, skiing actually. And I had a really bad accident skiing, and I realized after I kind of like went through all my decision making process and everything, and I figured that I was pushing myself for no reason. And the reason was like I wanted to kind of like rush and prove that I was ready for something, right? And since then, I learned the lesson, I guess, and I was like, you know what? This is not worth it. Like, no one is gonna push me. Like, there's no one, nothing, you know. Society, who cares? I'm doing my own path. I'm doing is who I am, and yeah, is my own thing. So I think like few lessons in like either guiding or like doing certain things, you know, like accidents or incidents, like close calls, where you are like, why I'm doing this? Like, I mean, you have the feeling of like, yeah, you push too much because you are trying to, you know, um be a start over there or something, but like doesn't make any sense. Like, um, yeah.
Whew, I'm glad that you survived your accident. You mentioned you almost
Yeah.
died. Yeah.
I mean, I felt like I almost died. Nothing happened to me, but it was like an eye opening. Yeah.
I see. That was that moment, just like, oh my God, that
Yes.
could have killed
Yeah.
me. Okay.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah, I understand. I'm glad that's just called a near miss. So now, say you're being the president, you're being on the board, so you don't do those things. So, do you think that you will ever go back on any political position?
100%. I love it.
Okay, yeah. And what kind of things that are you trying to do then?
I don't know. For now, I'm enjoying my freedom. But of course, I would love to keep working for the community. For, you know, I think being in the any political position is where you can do changes, when you can make changes, and I would love to be part of that again. Not now, not in the, you know, close future, but I'm yeah, I'm part. I know how that works, and nationally or internationally, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be part of it again, but I don't know when.
Do you have any particular agenda that you want to push?
Not really, not really. I think I just want to be there to support the people, the students, the new generation, the guides, the profession, just to have a better, healthier profession overall, internationally. I think friendship and professionalism is something that like they are very related, and we can impact so many people when we guide, that if we follow good patterns in general as a guide, we can change many things with our customers, and we can, yeah, kind of like, you know, move together to a better days in the future in general.
So you mean change things with your customers, for example?
The way of like, you know, they act every day in their lives, no matter what they are doing, right? Like how they interact with the people, how they treat the world, the nature. I mean, if they are climbers, if they are with us, if you have customers because they are enjoying the nature, means like they want to protect the nature somehow. And that everything kind of like comes to the same thing, right? Like you want to like be healthy, you want to take care of yourself, you want to take care of the environment, you want to take care of the others. And I think if we all feel that way and we all can really share that feeling, the world could be much better.
Nice. Then it seems like you have a bigger, broader job description for being a guide, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you think? Like, what do you think? Like, as a guide, what's your job description?
I think I'm just same thing. Like I was telling you at the beginning, I'm passionate about like nature, be out there, and I love to be alive. I think one of my main things, like I wake up every morning and I'm so grateful that I'm still alive, that I can be part of this world. And I just want to have a better relationship with like whatever is in my surroundings. And means people, means nature, means everything. We are so lucky to wake up every morning and to keep breathing. It's a miracle. It's amazing.
That's
And
right.
life is so good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just thinking about, being a guy, it's like, I love to see people grow. I love to see that people enjoying the nature, enjoying the activities. But I never really thought about how me as a guy would impact them about their attitude toward life. But it seems like for you, that was also part of the game.
Oh, 100%. And I think I learned that from my clients that I've been guiding them in big expeditions and they've been sharing that with me. Like I've been changing is I mean, I don't want to say like I changed their lives, but I've been part of that change in their lives. And that's super powerful. Like when you realize that actually you can be part of that interaction of another human being is like amazing.
Yeah, that's magical, it's for sure. Yeah. And so for you, for your work, do people contact you and ask you to guide them, or you have organized trips? Right? I know you don't have a personal website, or do you? I don't know.
No, so I used to have a website, but I do have like private customers, private clients that they contact me, and I guide for some companies as well. I love to keep guiding for some companies all over the world, doing different trips. I think that is part of like keeping myself grounded, with like other guides. So I love to share, different expeditions with like new guides. And then, of course, I have my private clients, like we're the ones that I go, I live it all over the world. And yeah, keep doing different things. And like every year, other people show up. And like I try to organize myself in between private clients and working for some companies that I've been working for.
I see. I mean, the reason I ask is just like whether you take people still now. Can they contact you if they want to hire you?
Yeah, they contact me by, Instagram, mail, whatever.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll definitely put your Instagram handle on the show note and everything. It's nice chatting with you. Still keep going. You think you will start like ski guiding more?
Yeah, that's my new thing. So I've been ski guiding quite a bit the last 2, 3 years, and now I'm gonna just like keep exploring that discipline that I feel pretty new. And it's a new chapter.
Exciting. Yan. So anything you want to talk about, or maybe some encouraging words to younger generation?
I think the most important is like the new generations and like, being a female or other gender, just the message will be like, don't be afraid, put yourself out there. And there's many people like me that we can support you. I mean, we can support people because we already kind of like won that space in the industry, and we are more than happy to stand up for other people that comes behind us, for sure.
Thank you for listening to the Female Guides Request podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review and share it with a friend. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious out there.